Ravina, your stream is live now and you're the host now. And now you can also make me the co-host.
Okay, done.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, everybody. Come on in. Nice to see you all.
Is this a repeat or is this new?
All our classes are live. So,
Okay.
have you taken this class before?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's similar, same material, same slides, but depending on the questions we get asked and depending on what my brain tells me to tell you, I just have the slides up. I don't have notes, extra notes. So I just talk sort of from my knowledge. So
Okay.
it could be different. Maybe you'll hear something different the second time through. I know a lot of people that take my classes a few times.
Right.
Definitely, like this class was sold out, and I asked them to put another class. So we have another arthritis class happening tomorrow. For any of you, well, obviously you guys got into this class, but yeah. So welcome everybody.
Hello.
Thank you.
Whoever I was just talking to, if you want, you can change your in your square, the 3 dots, rename yourself so we can see your actual name, because it just says owner's iPhone right now. If you want to change your name, you can, I think, or maybe you can, maybe because you phoned in. I'm not sure actually.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll just give it another minute because there's a lot of people joining today. And I'll just before I kind of start officially, we'll just give it another second. But feel free to get yourself comfortable and get your coffee or your water or whatever beverage. I've got my coffee today. It's cold today. Is it cold anywhere where you guys are? Because we've been having sunshine most days, and then today was raining, so I got wet.
I'm in Joliet, and it's kind of airish down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool here.
Yeah. I'm finding it freezing. Well, cold. So I actually made a coffee. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I made myself a big coffee for this class. So, all right, let's see if everybody has made it in. We still have a few people coming in. So just to get started, we have Todd from support, and he is here to help us. So if you're having any issues whatsoever with your technical stuff, he's the guy to ask. You just send him a message in chat, and he can help you. We do have a full class. Just a little tiny warning. Hopefully it doesn't happen in this class, but over the weekend we had a few Zoom bombers. Have you ever heard of that term? I thought I would just mention ahead of time. So we had a couple what we call disruptors or bad actors, where people, unfortunately, they have nothing better to do, but they come into the class and then they just disrupt, and sometimes they use foul language. It's just a ploy to get attention. So that happened to some of us guides over the weekend. And I had a guy come in my class. Somehow he got in at the very end, and he was just disruptive. So if that happens, I apologize ahead of time, but we have got things in place for security so that doesn't happen. So we are live streaming this morning. Does everybody know what that means when we're live streaming? That's kind of a new feature we have. So on the website, you can actually see there's like a little TV icon. If you're on a desktop, it's down the left-hand side, or if you're on your a smaller device, it might be up top. And what that does is allows you to click on live stream and see what's going on at Get Set Up. And so you get basically brought into a class. They can't see you, but you can see them and you can hear what's going on. So that's kind of neat because it's like a window into a class that maybe you were thinking of signing up for, but you're not sure if it's for you. And you get a chance to listen in for however long you want. You can click the button and leave anytime. What you can't do is participate on chat. You don't get the post email. And often in my classes, I like to give out a little handout of some sort, maybe anything to do with the class. Like it might be the top 10 something or other that I do in a nice PDF, so you can print that for yourself post class. So you can't get that if you're live streaming. But anyways, we'll say hello to everybody that is live streaming. And we are, well, I'll just move on up to the next screen. I'll get my screens shared here. Just to make sure we're all in the right spot, today is all about arthritis, and we're really going to focus on relief from arthritis. What can we do? Obviously, a lot of us are affected by arthritis because my classes have been full for this topic. I myself have a little bit of arthritis in my knees. So many Americans, Canadians, people around the world are affected by arthritis. So what can we do? I want relief. I don't just want it to be managed. Like it's like managing pain. I would like to get rid of the pain if I can. So if you've taken this class before, that's great. You always hear something different the next time. And depending on the questions we get asked, you'll learn from each other. I do like the reactions button down the bottom. If you can click that to raise your hand, if you have a question, then I know that you have a question. If you want to just give a thumbs up or a clap or one of the other things just to show you're participating and you're engaged with what I'm saying, that's awesome as well. Because the class is quite full, we may try to keep you on mute at all times so that we can manage the sound. Susan, do you actually have a question, or are you testing out your hand? I'll just get you off of mute if you can. Maybe you were testing it out. Yeah, you're on mute. So here's the thing with the reactions. You can do a thumbs up and it will just after 20 seconds disappear. You can do a clap, you can do a heart, whatever you want to do. If you put your hand up, you actually have to click the lower hand button. So to lower it after, say, your question's been answered, or if you accidentally hit it, you have to hit it again. All right, let's get going. My name is Ravina. If you haven't met me before, and I believe I've met most of you, I think you've taken at least one of my other classes. I am one of the 2 guides that live in Canada. So that's kind of neat for us. I live in Victoria, BC. I've been involved with prevention, health prevention, wellness, pretty much my whole entire life. I retired from my corporate job a few years ago, and now I coach. I'm a health and life coach outside of Get Set Up. And I do everything to mentor you to having a vibrant life. So I help you to take bold actions and just improve your health in general. Because so we're in our 50s, 60s, 70s. Do we give up? I don't think so. Like maybe we actually finally have some time to enjoy our life. We're outside of the working 9-to-5 situation. So why not be healthy while we're traveling and seeing the world when we can start doing that again? So I think that vibrancy of life is even more important in our golden years or latter years. I don't know, golden years sounds better, I think, because latter years sounds like, it's almost over. And hey, for some of us, we might end up living till we're 100 or not, or more. So why not? So we do learn from each other, as I mentioned. We are recording the class. So if you would like a copy of the recording, you can ask for that at the end of the class. It takes a little bit of time, I think, for them to get it uploaded and all that stuff to the cloud. And but you can get a copy. Say you have to leave early, or you just would like to hear it one more time, or just take the class again. It is being offered again tomorrow, and it's not sold out quite yet. And then lastly, we don't get kickbacks, money for talking about certain services or goods. And I do occasionally talk about, especially if people ask me a question about something, I will respond with something that I use possibly. So today we're going to learn the different types of arthritis and kind of what are the causes of those types of arthritis. We're going to learn, I think it's either 7 or 9. I got to check my slides. This is a pretty brand new class. We're going to look at, I think it's 9 ways to relieve our arthritis pain. And then we're going to learn about 5 foods that I would recommend that you add into your daily or weekly intake to help reduce some of your symptoms, help you relieve the symptoms that you're having. And for everybody that's here, because we've got a few pages worth of people here now, feel free to put your camera on. I mean, this is your community. If you've just joined Get Set Up, you'll be very excited to see some similar friends, faces. If we're lonely, which I feel a little bit lonely because I've been basically in a 2-bedroom condo. I go out for a walk in the mornings, but we basically stay home most of the time. Other than my husband, I haven't really seen a lot of people. So you guys are my people. So let's be, why not make some friends here? So if you show yourself on the camera, then someone might, recognize you, and you can make friends that way. All right. So let me take that off. Okay. So how many types of arthritis are there? Does anybody want to guess? If you've taken the class before and you've heard the answer, don't shout it out, but you can just type it in the chat. Just maybe just tell us where you're from, and then say how many types of arthritis do you think? If you're shy to come off of mute, just put it in the chat. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting in terms of arthritis. I can, if I were just to think about it, I could maybe think of maybe 1 or 2 or 3 maybe, but I think it's hard to know. Anybody else want to guess? Just throw it in the chat. Oh, Denise is saying 10. Okay. Okay. That's great. Lynn's here from New Zealand. That's awesome, Lynn. Well, what time is it for you? You're in New Zealand. That must be early morning. It must be early morning, I would say. 50. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Well, is everybody dying to know the answer? I didn't know this before I started studying this. There's actually over 100 types of arthritis. 5:30 in the morning. Well, good for you. You're up early. Okay, so yeah, can you believe it? There's over 100. So we know that arthritis is when we have inflammation of a joint. That's the basics of what arthritis actually is. And it can really cause debilitation of that joint, depending on what your joint is. Now, when I talk about arthritis, the first thing I do is sort of touch my knee, because that's my weak point in my body, my knees. Does anybody else have knees? Maybe if you do, you don't have to, but if you want to tell us in the chat sort of where your arthritis is, or if it's all over, maybe it could be all over. Wow, for Nancy, it is 95 degrees in Myrtle Beach. I could do with a bit of warmth right now. Send some my way. So here's the thing about arthritis. It affects more than 50 million adults in America. And here's the surprise. The surprise is it affects our children as well. Did any of us know that? 300,000 children in America are affected by arthritis. It's not something we think about. It's not something that we even thought was possible. A young person, why would they get arthritis? It seems like it's sort of like an older age thing, right? So I can see in the chat, that's great. So people feel it in their thumbs, their ankles, their knees, their wrists, cervical, hips. Both knees have been replaced. Yes. Yeah. Especially when you've had any kind of like surgery sometimes, then the arthritis comes afterwards. So there's various treatments depending on what type of arthritis you have. So let's look at the most common. So when somebody said, they think there's one type of arthritis, this is probably what they were thinking of, osteoarthritis. In the arthritises, they seem to have like shortened abbreviations for them. So you'll see as we go along the slides, osteoarthritis, OA. They call it OA. Maybe it sounds, I don't know, more trendy or just easier to say. I don't know, but OA. It is when it's a degenerative type of arthritis. And what does that word mean? That means it continues to get worse. It degenerates. It gets worse and worse. it affects, so we said about 50 million people have arthritis in North America, in the United States. 27 million of those 50 million have OA. So with OA, the cartilage in your joints is what breaks down. So you've got bones like this, and eventually the bones will start rubbing together. That's not a good feeling. So the cartilage wears down, and now the bone's touching. So for some of you, you might have that already. That's scary. So when the bones are rubbing together like this, what does that happen? What do you think happens? The bones, the joint becomes inflamed and painful, and you might injure the bone as well, because you've got bone on bone is what they call it. Now you might even have your bone create and form a spur. And what is that? It forms a little nodule or something on it. Like some people get heel spurs. It's like a part of the bone that a growth on the bone, because it's trying to protect the bone. That is painful. Now you're walking on a foot that's got like something on the bottom of it. Bone spurs are not nice. So if you look at the picture here, like that, you can just see an inflammation of an ankle. So who is at risk of getting osteoarthritis? You might not have it now, you might get it later. Yeah, so Kelly's talking about having that on the top of her foot. That can be painful too. Just putting your running shoes on, is not very nice. So what are the risk factors? Age, because unfortunately, as we age, we may be at more risk of developing osteoarthritis. Obesity, that doesn't help. Injuries. Has anybody had an injury on their body and now they've got arthritic pain in that area? Family history. If you have family history of arthritis, there is a link. There is some hereditary link towards if you've got family history of it. My mom had osteoarthritis, so maybe I think mine's because of an injury, but I might be more prone to it. And also joint overuse. What does that mean? Does anybody, like, what, you can put it in the chat. What do you think causes joint overuse? What do you think would cause that? And you can just name it. Oh, it could, yeah, what you think.
Exercise.
Over exercising, yeah, like maybe overdoing the exercise. Yeah. What else do you think? Jogging, yes. Sports, absolutely. Repetitive movements. You guys are a smart bunch. Absolutely. Joint overuse for people who maybe they have a sport that they do. What did they remember? They call it tennis elbow. People that play tennis a lot, like they overuse a particular joint. My father used to play soccer when he was a young kid, and played and played and played. So he's got issues actually with his knees, probably started from overuse of his joints from playing soccer or football, whatever you call it in wherever you live. What else? Joint overuse. What about some type of work activity that you had to do? I'm thinking about those guys that work in construction, where they do the drilling and holding onto machines. They're having repetitive movement of their hands. Could that cause some arthritis in their hands? So think about those kinds of things. So if you suffer from arthritis, is there something from your past that might have brought it on?
Rena, you're muted.
Myself. There we go. Did you mute me? Maybe you muted me. Okay. I didn't do it myself, but okay. So anyways, what I was getting at was about joint overuse. It can be not necessarily from sports. You might have not done sports, but what about your job? What did you do something physical for work? So what are some of the common symptoms of osteoarthritis? Joint soreness. Who has morning stiffness when they get up in the morning? I find I do. And then what about lack of coordination? Like your joints aren't as fluid, so you're kind of less coordinated, and that can add to disability. That can add to your inability to move like you would like to. All right, so we're going to get to the good stuff soon. This is just to get a sense of it. All right. What about rheumatoid arthritis? Who's heard of that type of arthritis? Rheumatoid arthritis. This is the second most common. And so you can see with the stats that rheumatoid arthritis is a type of autoimmune disease. So it's where your body attacks the healthy joint. It thinks there's something wrong. They think it's a foreign invader, so it starts to attack that joint. It affects 1.5 million people in America. So quite a lot less than osteoarthritis. You can see how common osteoarthritis is. But guess what? Sorry, ladies. 3 times more women than men get rheumatoid arthritis. I don't know why. I'm guessing it might have something to do with hormones, possibly, but unfortunately, it hits more women than men. With RA, very, very common to have morning stiffness. You typically have the same joint that hurts on either side of your body. So it's the same, it's sort of uniform that way. Joint deformities can also develop when you have rheumatoid arthritis. Do you know anybody with rheumatoid arthritis and they might have like knuckles that are like displaced a little bit and it's permanent? Now, what I want to say is, because I had someone mention this to me, guess what? Unfortunately, you can have both. You could have rheumatoid arthritis and also have some osteoarthritis. So keep that in mind. You can have more than one arthritis at the same time. So let's just look at a few other types of arthritis because, we mentioned children, right? Like children, young people with arthritis. Can you imagine like growing up and you're not able to play sports and do the things that, the things we used to do when we were kids, riding our bike easily and things like that. So here's some types of other arthritis because as we mentioned, there's over 100. Juvenile arthritis, they call that JA. That is actually the umbrella term. So when we say umbrella term, we mean that the term up here, and then there's all the different types that come below the umbrella. So juvenile arthritis is the umbrella term. And then we've got things like juvenile idiopathic arthritis, juvenile dermatomyositis type of arthritis, juvenile lupus, if you've heard of lupus, that's a type of arthritis. Scleroderma, the juvenile type. So there you can see there's a lot of type that you can get when you're a child. Then there's the spondylose, like the ankylosing spondylitis, AS, reactive arthritis, and psoriatic arthritis, which is the PCA. So who here has heard of gout? Anybody heard of gout? Yeah. Has anybody ever been affected by gout? That pain in your foot and in the big toe? It is like my uncle used to get gout. He thought it was because he ate peanut butter every day. Now, the one thing about gout is you need to avoid purines. Purines, the foods that have purines in them. So I think he had to stop eating peanut butter, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Gout can be so painful because it's like these crystals that are like attacking your toe, like pushing in. It's like somebody putting a knife to your foot, basically. The good thing about gout is there's some great treatments, and if you are someone who gets it a lot, you can take these medications preventatively. So you take it to keep those uric acid level low, so you don't form those crystals in your foot, basically. How about fibromyalgia? Who knew that was considered a type of arthritis? I didn't know that. I know a lot about our fibromyalgia, but I didn't know it was considered a type of arthritis. All right, so let's have a look here. So we're going to get into the management now. The thing about doctors, if you have a doctor that has diagnosed you with arthritis of some form, likely osteoarthritis because it's the most common, the doctor may or may not put you on some form of medication. But here's the neat thing about arthritis when it comes to Western medicine. For some reason, with this type of ailment, our family doctors are way more appreciative and open to you trying natural remedies. Isn't that nice? Because sometimes they're not. If you've got a heart problem, they don't want to hear about the, vitamin, mineral that you came up with, that you heard about that's going to help their heart. They just want you on medication, period. What's in other areas? Like, what else can I think of? Often our Western medicine doctors just want, like blood pressure, for example. You have high blood pressure, they want you on medication and they want you to stay on medication. They don't want to hear about all the things you're doing to, improve your blood pressure. They might appease you by saying, oh, good for you, that's great, you're walking every day. But really, they're not that interested in natural remedies. But arthritis, for some reason, they seem to be more open to it. So feel free to talk to your doctor about some of the things we're going to talk about and the things you're hoping that you're going to maybe do. Now, I want to get this one out of the way first. So number one is weight management. We know everybody's told us just lose some weight and you won't be in as much pain. Easier said than done. But there is evidence out there that if we can take some of the weight off of our joints, they won't hurt as much. Because osteoarthritis is what is it? It's the wear and tear of the joints. So if you want to, save what cartilage you have left there, or you want to save your joint so you don't have to go for a knee replacement or hip replacement, one of the best things we can do is lose a couple pounds to try to manage our weight better if we are overweight. Now, 1 pound loss takes about 4 pounds impact off of your body joints. Isn't that nice? So if you just could lose 1 pound, even in a week or in 2-week period that you try to reduce, change your habits so that you can reduce 1 pound in 2 weeks, you will relieve your knees by over 4 times the amount. The impact on the knees is like 4 pounds. So I think, lose 5 pounds, you're not carrying around 20-pound weights. How's that sound? That sounds pretty good to me. So I don't get discouraged now if I'm trying to lose weight and I get 5 pounds off me. I know my body is in way better shape than it was, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago when I was 5 pounds heavier. So don't get discouraged. Nobody has to have a 40-pound weight loss. We're not all on a keto strict diet where we're, eating styrofoam. No, I'm just joking. But you know what I mean? Or like, I don't know. I'm not against keto diet by any means, but I'm all about holistic nutrition and health. So that's the number one thing when it comes is the weight management. So if you are a little bit overweight, like I would like to still, we call it release. Don't say lose, because if you lose it, what does that mean? You're going to find it somehow, right? And and our brain and our body, if you think of holistically, because I'm a holistic nutritionist person, even your language makes a difference. If you don't believe in the spiritual, like the woohoo kind of stuff, that's okay. But just think about it. Your language and what you say about yourself matters. So you don't want to call yourself fat. You don't want to call yourself overweight. You want to say, I'm useless. You want to think about it as releasing the weight. This is just a little tip because I've learned this through classes I've done. So you're not losing weight. You're releasing, you're allowing your body to release the weight. So from a spiritual point of view, a whole body point of view, your body will be happier with you and say, okay, I'm going to release these 5 pounds. Because you know what? I don't want to lose 5 pounds because I don't want to find them. All right, I made the point. The next thing is to get ourselves moving again. What are some suggestions that we could do? Now, low impact is awesome if you've got joint pain, because we all know, like, I'm not going out and running on the street because, first of all, my knees can't take it. Sometimes I even have troubles walking because my knee joint is sore, usually my left one, but my right one is not great. Going downstairs, horrible for me. I can go upstairs all day, but going down, the kneecap, when you go down, if you have knee issues, when you go downstairs, if your doctor's told you, the kneecap presses onto the bone. And for me, it's not necessarily my joint that's a problem, it's the kneecap, and it's the cartilage is missing from underneath my kneecap. So I can't bend and put my bare knee down on the ground, a hard surface. It would hurt like heck. So what are some low impact things that you could do? Well, what about taking a Tai Chi class here at Get Set Up? We've got Tai who teaches Tai Chi. I think his name's Tai. Is that right? I think his name is actually Tai, which I think is so cool. Of course he's teaching Tai Chi. What about water sports? Does anybody live in a nice hot place and you've got a pool in the backyard or something where you can move around in the water? Water sports or water movement is so nice for our joints. It just feels like, why couldn't my joints feel like this all the time? What else? Cycling. Cycling takes some of the pressure off of the impact. So you can either have a stationary bike at home, or you can have like a bike that you take outside. Here's another one I was thinking and researching. Does anybody have, you can type it in the chat if you do, does anybody have those little trampolines? Like the rebounder, they call them rebounders. I had one a while ago, and then I didn't have space in my little condo, so I got rid of it. But kill two birds with one stone. If you can do a little bit of movement just on your tiny little rebounder, heck, nobody's watching, you're not in the gym, just you could dance on it. They even have some that have like an attachment, so you can hold on if your stability, if you're not your stability is not great. So the other thing that's great about a rebounder, if we want to go back to number one and weight management, is it helps your lymphatic system. Do we all know what the lymphatic system is in our body? That's what gets rid of the toxins, the stuff we don't want, the junk we don't want anymore. Unfortunately, it doesn't have its own pump. So the lymphatic system relies on what? Anybody know? Like, it's not like the heart doesn't have a pump. It doesn't have anything. It just has the system. It relies on gravity. So even getting up and standing up and shaking your body a little bit will help to get the lymphatic going. Some people go for massages to get the lymphatic moving, because you want to get rid of that. That's discharge, like that's toxin buildup, and that you want out of your body from going to the bathroom. You want that to come out of your body. So those little rebounders, that would be kind of a neat little thing, since we're all at home a lot, to maybe, if you don't want to get a treadmill or something like that, but just to bounce on the rebounder would be a great little thing to get some more movement into your life. All right, so those are probably two things you probably thought, okay, she's going to talk about losing weight and exercising, but I call it weight management and movement. Sounds better. The third one is hot and cold therapy. Have we forgotten about our hot and cold therapy? I think some of us have forgotten about it. So hot therapy, what is that? It can help with that morning stiffness, a hot water bottle, an electric blanket. What about a heating pad at night? I know we've got, sorry, I forgot your name now. I think it's Lynn from New Zealand. One thing I noticed when I traveled to New Zealand a few years back, we went there actually on our honeymoon, is that I noticed that in New Zealand, and Lynn, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if everybody's house has the central heating, like, where we can put the thermostat on in every room. But they all had these beautiful electric blankets. Whenever I went to visit relatives, every single bed had this amazing electric blanket. And I had never heard of it, because here in Canada, I don't know, it gets cold here, but we don't have electric blankets. But even a hot water bottle, easy, right? Fill it with hot water, stick it in the bed a few minutes before you're going to get in, help your joints get some soothing relaxation from the heat so you can fall asleep properly. How many of us have trouble sleeping or get awoken from joint pain? That can happen. You can be woken up from pain. Not nice. So on the other spectrum is the cold therapy. Some of us have forgotten about that. Nowadays, you can get these amazing, this isn't it, but like a gel pad that molds. You can mold because it's made with that lovely gel. You put it in the freezer, it cools down. You got, an elbow problem, you mold it onto your elbow, so you get the coolness distributed nicely. I mean, you can use a pack of peas too, I guess, but these gel things you can use them over and over and over again. Don't forget about your cold therapy. We sometimes forget about some of the simple things, and we just sit in agony. Don't sit in agony. Ask for some help. Get maybe a son or daughter, someone to go out and buy you these neat gel packs. They're really fairly inexpensive, I think. That would be a great idea. So hot and cold therapy.
Raven, when do we use hot and when do we use cold therapy?
Okay. Lots of times people will use hot and cold, but typically if your joint is stiff, if you're having that pain, more like stiffness, like lack of mobility, the warmth will help to loosen the joint up. If you feel like you're kind of in pain and you've already taken your arthritic pain medication and you've gone to bed, warm will help soothe you to help you go to sleep. Cold, if you can visually see redness or inflammation on your joint, it's more when it's, say you went for a little hike, a little walk around the block and you overdid it, and now your hip or your knee is really sore and you can feel it hot. That's when I would use the cold treatment to relieve the swelling and the inflammation. But there's no hard science here. If you prefer warmth and that gives you relief, go with that. If you can't stand cold. But if you're somebody who, you know, a little bit of coldness on that joint just kind of help to like get rid of that swelling that you felt, puffiness, then you use the cold. I hope that answers your question. I would say do both. Use both. Have the gel pack in the freezer at all times and have your hot water bottle out so you remind yourself, oh, I wouldn't mind having that while I watch the news or sit and watch TV, and move the heating hot water bottle around. Put it on your right side for a while, or your left side. Put it on your right side. Test it out. Try it out. I have one of those, it's a thing, because I used to get, from sitting at my computer all day, I used to have one of these beanbag things I could put around my neck for my shoulders and my neck. And I just stuck it in the microwave. They were filled with something that would get hot in the microwave. But, you know, read the instructions because they're all different. All right, well, we'll move on to number 4, acupuncture. Has anybody tried acupuncture? Let me know in the chat. Acupuncture is an ancient Chinese practice that's been around for years and years and years. They use these teeny tiny needles. Don't be scared if you're not a needle lover. I don't think anybody likes needles, but they're so fine that the actual needle that gets pricked into the meridians on your body is just like a teeny tiny pinch, probably less of a pinch than if you got a mosquito biting you, which we don't like either. So many acupuncturists treat for arthritis. Did you know that? You could go to them and say, I have arthritis. I've got pain in my hands. Please help. They will not necessarily put the needle in the hand. They might put the needle up in your neck that releases and blocks the meridian. It's all around energy in our body that gets blocked. So if you have blockage of energy, they believe in the meridians in the body. Now, I'm not a professional acupuncturist, but I have gone many times for acupuncture. It has helped me immensely for me. Now, if you do not believe in acupuncture, please don't go and get it, because if your mindset is that this is hogwash, it's not going to help you. So do a little reading on it, check it out. Try to make sure it's a certified acupuncturist. Some doctors actually do acupuncture. And check, some of your medical plans may have coverage for so many sessions of acupuncture. Try it, because if you're open to trying it, it can give you some very, very good relief. See, it says here, helps reroute energies and restore balance. That's the other thing. If you're having knee pain or shoulder pain or whatever the pain is, your body could be out of balance. So what the acupuncture does is balance your body so the energy flows equally in your body. All right, the next one kind of is sort of along the same lines of sort of the Eastern sort of methods. Like meditation came to us, I think, from the Eastern ideas. Meditation can be very relaxing. If you're a newbie at this, don't try to meditate for more than 1 or 2 or 5 minutes. Like, don't try to you're going to start meditating for 30 minutes. You got to work up to being able to meditate for that long. I did a class last year, 2 years ago, and we started with a 5-minute meditation. It was a group. It was silent. You didn't talk. You didn't have your phone on, and it was teacher led, which was really better for me because I couldn't wander away, you know, in my mind when it was like focused with a teacher. We started at 5 minutes of meditation, and most of us were like all over the place. But by the time we finished this 8-week class, we were meditating for up to 30 minutes. It was so fascinating. She had a little gong to get us started, and she would do a talking meditation. So she would talk to us to help us get into that meditative state. It was really, really amazing. So they do say that meditation can help lower our stress, which then lowers our inflammation and pain. When we are in stress, our inflammation goes up and our pain levels go up. So lowering your stress is the key here. Maybe combining Tai Chi with yoga or combining Tai Chi with meditation. I'm not sure if Tai teaches something like that. He might do a combination of a little bit of meditation. Has anybody taken the Tai classes? Anybody tried them yet? I'm wondering if he adds a little part of meditation into the classes. He might. All right. So how's everybody doing? Are we all, do I still have everybody? Are we, how are we feeling? Are we good? Yeah. Are you learning some things? I hope you're learning some things. Okay, good, because I want the classes to be informative. So definitely give me some feedback on the feedback form at the end. Okay, good. All right. I do have Todd helping me out, which has been awesome because we're getting a teeny tiny bit more strict. I'll just say this as a little tip on coming to class on time. And that's, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, we're trying to eliminate these people that, not people, we call them bad actors, or the disruptors. We'll call them disruptors. I like that name. From sneaking in at the last minute into our classes, or as we start teaching, they sneak into the class and then they disrupt. Now we're really working on our security, but we are really asking for you to try to come to class right on time, if not within that first 5 minutes, because that's the window. And then we're kind of like,
Raven, I got a quick question for you.
sure.
Well, I did it, and I don't know if it helped me. Does it help if you change your shower head? Because you can buy different shower heads for like the penetration, like the beating, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I changed my shower head. So some mornings I want a hot, soothing shower. Then when I get up, I'm stiff, and I turn the shower head and get that like penetration.
Mm-hmm.
And then some mornings I'm like, I want a cool shower, but gradually hot. Does that shower head changing help too?
I think so, absolutely. Because when we get to the next slide, let's just see. And that's great. Sherry says that Tai is an awesome teacher. Yeah, I really want to try to make it to his class. So it was good timing, Rachel, that you mentioned that, because the next thing that can help with arthritic pain and relief from it is getting a massage. Now, you can get a massage any way you want. Like, you can ask your husband or your partner, sometimes they'll give you a foot rub, or maybe you go to a place that you trust to get a full body massage or some type of massage. There is no research to say massage fixes, cures arthritis. But if you can just allow yourself to relax from a massage, you can actually get you're feeling all tight and like holding the stress, and massage can help to eliminate that. So Rachel's just given, Rochelle, sorry, I'm saying your name wrong. It's probably Rochelle. Rochelle just said about changing her shower head. So on those mornings when she's stiff, you put the hot on and have it sort of give a little bit of a pulse. That's kind of like a little bit of a massage, right? Aren't there some massage tools you can get? You can self-massage your back, your body. So there are tools out there. The one that I really love is Shiatsu massage, which is a Japanese type of massage. My mother this is the only massage that she felt comfortable and confident with, because number one, you keep all your clothes on. You don't have to feel like embarrassed and take all the clothes and you're under this little tiny little sheet to get the massage, because that in itself makes me so stressed that I don't enjoy the massage. But Shiatsu massage, you keep all your clothes on. Sometimes if you can get on the floor, they'll do it on a mat on the floor so you can really stretch your joint, your body out, or they'll do it on a massage table. Fascinating and very, very just a nice relief. And it took my mom about a good 10 minutes into the massage. She was still holding on because her joints were so sore. But as the massage therapist lady would work on my mom, she would finally relax and she would almost fall asleep in this massage. So, you're holding on to a lot of pain and tightness because of our arthritis. Great idea to try a massage. All right. The next one, it might surprise you because we kind of have forgotten about our physical therapists, the physiotherapists. I think you can call them both names, physical therapist, physiotherapist. Do you remember back in the day, they are the ones that help us maintain and make the most out of use of our range of motion of our joints and our strength. Like in this picture, we forget we're not a specialist in it. Even as a nurse, I'm not a specialist I don't know what a physiotherapist knows about all my joints and my range of motion, and even what my range of motion should be. Like, do we even know how far we should be able to move our neck and our head? I'm not a physiotherapist. This is one where I do believe you need a referral from your doctor. So I don't know how you're connecting with your doctor right now, but maybe it's online or on the phone. I would say, hey, my arthritis has been flaring up. I would love to have some expertise from a physiotherapist. Can you give me a referral? It's a fantastic way to have them look and see, how much range of motion do you have in that shoulder? Has it completely reduced down because of that accident you had or the arthritis pain? Find out where you are and work with the physiotherapist to improve your range of motion. That leads, so that's number 7. I think this is one of the most important out of the 9. The number 8 one is just as important. And this is guidance from an occupational therapist. So an OT. So one's a PT, one's an OT. There might be a clinic near you that has both PTs and OTs and they work together. That would be awesome, right? You also need a referral to an occupational therapist. But these are the people, I love these people. Like, if I could do another career, I would. I actually applied for OT when I was applying for nursing. They're the ones that have the awareness of your body mechanics and how you can reduce the amount of work to do something. Does that make sense? Like, they help you minimize the effort for the maximum result. So they might come in and say, well, Ravina, your coffee mug holder is way too far away from your computer. You're constantly having to go like this. Let's move it closer. Or, you're looking down, you're putting strain on your neck. Let's move your computer screen up a little bit. So that's what we would call an ergonomic assessment, where they come and check out your workspace. Are we finding, since a COVID, are we sitting in front of the TV a lot? Are we sitting in front of our computer a lot? If you get an OT to come in to your home, they can look around at the tasks that you're doing. Like, they'll say to you, walk me through you making breakfast. What do you do in your kitchen? So, for example, I can see Rochelle's in her kitchen because I can see her fridge behind her. Like, she's got cupboards that look really high. I don't know how tall Rochelle is, but often that's one of the things that we don't do. We just don't do. We put something we use every day on the top shelf. Why is that? Because is that where we always had the plates? Do you know that, for example, plates can be heavy, and maybe there's still 4 of you and you're having to grab 4 plates. Like, can you do it anymore? No, now we're going 1 plate at a time. That's a lot of above the shoulder movements. Do you know that in new homes now, they have the drawers down below where that freaks me out. I'm used to plates being in the cupboard up here. Who has their plate? I'm just curious. Who has their plates in the typical cupboard, like higher up? Has anybody live in a place now where you have the drawer that's like easier to get to below, where you lift the plates from the bottom up? Anybody? Yeah, Susan, you do? Yeah, Ingrid? A lot of the newer places will have like these nice big deep drawers to put your plates, because plates can be quite heavy. Now, one of the really special treats I do have for you at the end of this class is I will send you a post email, like I always do, and I will have this gorgeous little arthritis management relief handout that I put together that has a lot of OT tips and tricks, or tools, let's say. I won't call them tricks, tips and tools on things that you can do in every room of your home to make it easier for you. Like, here's something. I used to see my dad struggle all the time. He would go to Costco and buy like the biggest detergent for the dishwasher. I couldn't even lift the stupid thing. It was so big. And he would then have to get it and hold it and grip it to pour the little bit into the little tiny thing in the dishwasher. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we do it? So you get it into a smaller container. You can buy the bulk one if that's better pricing for you, but put it in a smaller one. Now, Kathy has a question about, yes, I know, I had the same question, Kathy. I believe that they are the same thing. They call themselves a physical therapist or a physiotherapist. I can double check that, and I will put it in the notes at the end, because I do refer to them both in that slide, and I do believe they're similar. Now, keep in mind that physiotherapists can all specialize in a certain area. So, you know, some physiotherapists might specialize in vertigo, for example, people that get vertigo, and they work on the cervical, they work on the back of the neck. Sometimes there's crystals back there that can get out of alignment and cause you to have that dizziness, which is like that vertigo feeling. So I will, I'll answer that for you in the notes. Then the ninth one, which is what to eat. Well, to relieve your arthritis, the number one thing I think you could do is improve your diet. Doesn't seem like it would make a difference, but guess what? Eating fresh fruits, vegetables, whole foods can boost your immune system, help to reduce the inflammation. If you've taken any of my other classes, I talk about nutrient-dense foods, getting the vitamins and minerals into your body every day. And there is evidence, there's research out there for RA and OA, so the rheumatoid and the osteoarthritis, can positively improve your situation if you eat good food. Now, what's the opposite of that? The foods that cause inflammation. Do we need extra inflammation in our joints? No, we don't. So,
Raven, I was getting needles maybe about 5 years ago in my left knee because the pain was unbearable. And I know you don't agree with this, but somebody told me to start the keto diet, and that's going to give you some relief. And I did, and I cut all the sweets out and, you know, the snacks and all that. And I haven't had a needle since.
wow.
Now I don't do the keto now, but I do watch the sugar.
Yeah,
Definitely, I watch that sugar, you know.
absolutely.
And I haven't had a needle in about 4 or 5 years because
Wow.
of how I'm, you know, how I watch the sugar.
Yeah,
I need to
absolutely.
watch everything, but
Yeah.
I don't eat a lot of sugar, you know, and it is a difference. Mhm.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. So it's true. The things that cause inflammation in our body, excess red meat, processed foods, the high sugars. Like if we could cut out sugar, I would bet, I'm going to just bet, I won't guarantee it, but I would bet that your arthritic pain reduces drastically if you cut sugar out, because it causes inflammation in our body. So anything that gets sore and inflamed and swollen is going to cause pain. It makes sense, right? I'm not against keto diet, actually. So I should just say, from a personal point of view, the type of diet that I eat right now since March of this year, so March, April, 3 months I've been doing this, and I noticed a difference in 2 weeks. I eat mostly more of a paleo diet. I mean, mine's very specific what I do, but right now, because in 2 weeks, I lost my knee pain. I didn't have knee pain anymore. I woke up one morning and went, what's different? I didn't have knee pain, and I didn't have foot pain because I was getting plantar fasciitis on my foot, inflammation in my foot from being overweight, eating the wrong foods. So paleo diet, right now, I don't eat any sugar. Very, very tiny amounts, only if the sugar is naturally occurring in something do I eat sugar. I don't eat anything where the ingredients add sugar. If it says sugar added, I don't eat it. I'm not eating any gluten, huge difference for me. And I'm not eating any grains for now. On last weekend, we did a little treat. We had a sushi, we did a Japanese night. So we actually ate rice for the first time in a couple months, and I felt totally fine. So I know rice is not a thing that's bothers my body, but so I eat like that. So when people go on keto diet, for example, they're cutting out all those sugars. That's why you can see improvement. I don't agree with everything with the keto diet, eating really high fatty foods all the time, but the no sugar, I absolutely agree. Now, I want to just explain this. I have a couple minutes here. When you have a food and you look at the ingredients, it's different than the makeup. So the food might say 4 grams of sugar. That might be because it naturally occurs in that food. It's different than the ingredients list. Do you see the difference? So I might have this item that I'm going to eat and it's naturally has 4 grams of sugar. That's fine. It is naturally occurring in that food. But if in the ingredients it says, I don't know, like a list of ingredients, something sugar, that means they've added sugar to it. That's what you want to look out for. Added sugar in the ingredients list. That's what you don't want if you're trying to cut out sugar. But if it says there's, 8 grams of protein, 4 grams of sugar, that's naturally occurring in it. If there's no sugar in the ingredients list, do you see the difference? So you can have 0 in the ingredients, not showing sugar, but there's still something in it. And that food is totally fine if you're trying to do the non-sugary diet. Now, in the last few minutes, I'm going to go through 5 foods. And I did see your message, Felice, about wanting more healing food recipes. So what I'm going to promise is that because arthritis has been such a popular class, I might do a secondary class for this arthritis where I talk about specific foods and recipes that go with them so that we can start eating better to help us with our arthritis. But in the last few minutes, I want to talk about 5 foods. The first one is turmeric. You've probably heard me talk about this in the Healing Foods class. Turmeric is the #1 natural way to reduce your inflammation in your body, period. If you have not started drinking and using turmeric, start using it and see if it makes a difference for you. Talk to your doctor if you're worried that it might be something affecting your medication. I put, not in my coffee, but I put turmeric in my smoothie this morning. I had a little vegetable smoothie, and I put in a half a teaspoon of turmeric into it because I have those joint issues as well. But this one is powerful turmeric. And most people, I don't know anybody that's allergic to turmeric. The second one is I want you to get your omega-3 fatty acids. The #1 way to get it is in fatty fish like salmon and sardines and mackerel and herring. But if you're not a fish lover, I want you to become a seed lover. So I want you to eat flax seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds. Those seeds, chia seeds make nice little puddings. Flaxseed, you can get the meal and put it, like, what did I make? I made crab cakes last night, just to give you an example. And guess what? I put a tablespoon of my flaxseed powder into the crab cakes. Do you think anybody noticed? No. And it actually has a clinging, brings everything together. So you could do 1 less egg in your crab cake if you're making crab cakes. They turned out delicious. I even took dill from my garden. I'm growing herbs and threw that in there. So if you don't like fish, eat your seeds. Put seeds in your salad. So what is it? So we got turmeric, we've got omega-3 fatty acids, we got vitamin D. How many of us are getting enough vitamin D? I don't know. See, Linda, yeah, Linda's taking turmeric. Absolutely. I just think you can get turmeric, sorry, going back to turmeric, in capsules. Definitely talk to your doctor that you want to take it, but I've seen more and more people being relieved, their arthritis relief from taking turmeric. Vitamin D is so important. Where do we get vitamin D? In the salmon again. So salmon, you're getting vitamin D and the omega-3s. Liver, egg yolks, mushrooms, those are all high in vitamin D. This is a area of supplementation that I would recommend if you are low in vitamin D. Get the blood test done. It costs a bit of money. Get the blood work done. Find out how high or low your vitamin D level is. Whether you're darker skin like me, I mean, I'm not super, like, apparently I can be in the sun longer, but regardless, I mean, I put a hat on when I go in the sun still. So I'm not getting enough vitamin D from the sunshine. I know that. So that's _3. And then the next one is nuts. So again, like seeds, nuts have beautiful anti-inflammatory properties. So walnuts are fabulous. Pine nuts, you can toast them in the pan for a few minutes, throw them on your salad. Pistachios, I love to get pistachios in the shell already because it kind of slows you. It's more of an experience, putting the shell and the pistachio in your mouth. I like the salt, of course, on the shell, so that's probably why I like that. Almonds are also great. Robin takes arnica tablets. Yes, arnica gel tea. I have an arnica gel that I can put on if I have a joint that is sore. So this is number 4. So let's just go through it again. So we remember turmeric, high foods of omega-3s, high foods with vitamin D. Oops, sorry. I just went a little bit ahead of myself. And then 4 is nuts. And then the last one is the healthy oils. So I wanted to just mention this. Did you know that olive oil has a compound in it that's very similar to the effect of what the anti-inflammatory drugs that are so strong on your body, those NSAIDs? If you see some of your arthritis pain medication might be an NSAID, they call it an NSAID. They can be tough on your stomach, like they can hurt your stomach. But olive oil has some similar properties to help reduce your pain sensitivity. So olive oil, bring in some beautiful olive oil into your life. Look for the extra virgin olive oil and try not to cook with it. When I say olive oil, I want you to get the beautiful extra virgin olive oil and sprinkle it on your salads. Put it, even if you made a casserole, put a little bit of it on after you've cooked it. The other ones you can heat a little higher is avocado oil. That's a very new one on the market and is very popular and easy to find in your grocery store. And then there's walnut oil. Again, you can't heat it up super high. So those are your oils. So that brings us to the end of the class. I hope that you found some interesting tidbits in today's class. We have more and more new classes coming out all the time. Now, I want you, if you are interested, because we mentioned Keto Diet a couple of times in here, I have a class that I've created called Today's Top Food Lifestyle Trends. I talk about Keto Diet. I talk about Keto Light Diet. Maybe that's better for you. I talk about Paleo. I talk about Mediterranean. I talk about all the different diets and what they mean. Now, that hasn't been scheduled yet, but if you go to Coming Soon, if you go to courses and click the button Coming Soon, see if you can find this one and say you want to be notified. Because then the more people that are interested in this, then it'll get put on the schedule. So that's just one of my classes that I would love to start teaching, the food lifestyle ones, because then I can explain all the different types of vegetarian. Does anybody know what flexitarian is? Yeah, like there's some really neat things. I will send out that email to all of you. Please do some feedback if you have time to do the feedback. That would be really helpful. Just real quick, iPhone, Carrie's asking about coconut oil. Yes, I love coconut oil. Your brain loves coconut oil. It is a saturated fat, but it's a healthy saturated fat. I don't go a day without putting coconut oil in my body because it's so good for our body systems. That's my personal opinion. And if you look up research as well, you can invite friends now to classes. And then lastly, if you want a recording or you want to suggest a new class, just send it to help@getsetup.io. So there you have it. I hope that this has been a fun time for you all. Thank you all for being here. And I can stick around for a minute or two if there's a question. I'm teaching in an hour, 7 healing foods, 7 simple recipes. And so we will talk about recipes in that class. Anybody have a quick question, or are we all?
Yes, Raven, I have a question. Does it help if you have your, me personally, I eat my main meal between 12 and 2 because give my body time to digest it and everything.
Yeah.
Because I had an antacid problem, and by me stop eating by a certain time, I don't have to take that antacid medicine.
I love that. Yeah, sometimes the nighttime meal is too hard on our bodies as we age. Absolutely. Yeah, thanks, Lynn. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you're doing classes first thing in the morning and then going off. Like, that's awesome. But yeah, I know my dad eats more of his heavier meal at lunchtime because it gives him more time to digest and feel better for nighttime. Because like the worst thing is having arthritic pain and a full stomach and an acid issue trying to get a good night's sleep. I mean, how do you get a good night's sleep when you got all that going on? So you know, I think that's a great idea. If you don't have to feed kids and, you know, or a partner, a husband or wife that's expecting the full meal at dinner time, we often have a big salad now at dinner time, with a bit of protein, and we have our heavier meal at lunch, because guess what? We're both at home right now. He's working at home, husband's working at home, I'm at home. We make a bigger dinner now, a bigger lunch. Yeah. One more question. I can answer one more question if anybody has anything. I'd love to see you back in class. I've got 2 more today. Natural healing foods, and then natural remedies is at the end of the day. All right, everybody, take care. I'm glad you loved the class. We'll see you again soon. Good to see all my regulars too. I love having you all here. All right, bye, Julia. Bye, Kathy. I'm going to find out that question, Kathy, and send it in the post things. Emmeline. I love that name, Emmeline. Beautiful name. Love it. All right, everybody, take care. Thank you, Todd, for all your help.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Irvine.